Hello everyone, it's Makeda, also known as the Renaissance Amazon. And I hope you all are doing well today. I am recording live from Cali, Colombia. I am live on IG and I'm recording on a separate camera to post on my YouTube video because when I'm out of the country, the videos tend to be staticky. So to those on IG, if it's staticky, I'm sorry, but you can find this on YouTube as well. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm an exercise physiologist, a nutritionist, and a sacred sexual educator, and a dancer. And I have a video on my YouTube page about what sacred sexual education is. But today I'm just going to do a brief video talking about what sacred sexuality is. Because my very first YouTube video actually was on the topic. The very first YouTube video I ever did was on sacred sexuality, and that was 10 years ago, 2010, in Brooklyn, I remember. But that YouTube page got deleted, so that video is gone, okay? So, for those of you who follow me, you have probably noticed that I do nude modeling, that, I embrace sensuality and sexuality. And I also have videos where I'm talking about my opinion on religion, patriarchal religion. But sexuality and spirituality are of the same continuum. And I hope you guys can hear me. I need a microphone. This is one thing that dance really taught me and helped me to embody. There's sacred knowledge that you get from studying dances, particularly indigenous dances, and for me, it's dances of the African diaspora. Dances of the African diaspora, particularly in the Americas, has taught me so much. And with Africans and Native Americans, Africans and Native Americans have oral traditions. So unlike the Chinese, who have very well-kept records for generations on things, Africans and Native Americans are more oral. So that means you have to look at the art. You have to look at, sorry, so loud. You have to look at what was written in stone. You always hear people talk about stuff being written in stone. What was written in stone is very important. No indigenous people would take the time to write things in stone and etch it into caves if it wasn't really important, okay? And all throughout the world we find erotic art. All throughout the world, and more of it is being uncovered. So a lot of people know about the Kama Sutra from India, but all throughout the world in caves you have erotic art. And they depict the connection between sexuality and hunting, sexuality and the fertility of the land. Everything was driven by sexual energy, and this is under matriarchal traditions. You can't talk about the goddess. A lot of people now like to talk about the goddess, or people like to say God and goddess are interchangeable. God and goddess are not interchangeable, okay? The same way man and woman are not interchangeable, okay? A man is not a woman and a woman is not a man. They're different, okay? So, and to the black people out there, who are conscious of giving their kids black toys and showing them black Santas, you wouldn't say that a super pale white Santa is the same as a black Santa. You wouldn't say that giving your black daughter a blonde-haired, blue-eyed doll is the same as giving her a Nubian doll. You wouldn't say that. So the same thing is true when it comes to God and goddess, okay? They're not the same. The goddesses are actually a lot more interesting, okay? So with the goddess, you have lots of stones associated with the goddess. You have lots of symbols associated with the goddess. And if you look at ancient art, okay, the most ancient art was nude females, the Venus figurines. Look it up. The Venus figurines, they're a headless woman that had the breast and the hips and the buttocks emphasized, okay? The first time there were any males depicted in art was the Virgin Mary, the Black Madonna, where the male baby was breastfeeding on the mother, okay? So we all live on Mother Earth, okay? If we talk about Mother Nature, we all come from the wombs of our mother, okay? Every single last one of us on the planet had to be incubated in our mother's womb in the darkness. Darkness is associated with the divine feminine, okay? And everything associated with the divine feminine has been deemed negative. Darkness, cats, snakes, witches, okay? Even the witch hat. The cone witch hat is actually a very ancient, sacred hat, okay? What else? Herbs, the natural healing, sexuality, abortion, all of those things were associated with the divine feminine, the great goddess. They were in the realm of the witches. And it was patriarchal religions that chose to beat that out of civilizations, because every culture was matriarchal first. And I can provide a detailed book list below on my YouTube page, because people who know me know, I don't speak on anything that I have not thoroughly researched, okay? So I know what I'm talking about. And I always have lots of citations and references, so I will post many of them below on my YouTube page. But what's written in stone is the truth, okay? And under matriarchal traditions, there was marriage, okay? There was marriage, but people in most societies, the wife and the husband was not the property of the other. They still shared, okay? You had a lot of matriarchal civilizations where people had sex freely, and the men took care of all the kids as if they were theirs. So there were no fatherless children, but everything was traced through the mother. So it didn't matter who the father was, everything was traced through the mother, okay? All the men took care of, and you had some civilizations where when a woman got pregnant, every man that she had sex with stepped up as the father, okay? And so in civilizations like that, you have no fatherless children, okay? But under patriarchy, where it's like this one man, the biological father, is the one that's responsible for this kid for their whole entire life, you have a lot of fatherless children, okay? Now, luckily I wasn't one of them, but there's a lot of people whose fathers wasn't around. Now, imagine if we had a society where the men in the village took care of all the kids as if they were theirs. There would be no fatherless kids, okay? But under patriarchy, they suppressed everything, and patriarchy came from the world's main three patriarchal religions: Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. And under that, they wanted to put the fear of God into people. Women's sexuality was shunned. Nudity and the female body was shunned. Open sexuality was shunned. Anything that was hold on a second. Okay. Anything that was not heterosexual, monogamous sex and relationships were shunned. Okay. So, but if you look at the medical symbols, right, and this is not just in the U.S., I see this all over the world, that the medical symbol is a staff with these snakes going up, okay, and then you have the bird wings on top, okay. Every country that I know of has that as their medical symbol. Now, why is that? Snakes are associated with initiation, healing, and sacred sexual energy, spiritual energy, death, resurrection, all of that, okay? Ancient wisdom DNA. That's what snakes stand for. Snakes were in the realm of the goddess. Now, think about the Kundalini, which Indian people talk about, which is a dormant snake at the base of the spine. And then it is aroused up the spine, up the spine, up the spine, up the spine, into the brain, activating the third eye, okay? The third eye, which is symbolic of these wings, seeing from above and seeing from below. That's enlightenment, true enlightenment, okay? Sexual energy is healing energy. It's healing energy. This is the reason why under patriarchal religion, all this suppression has created so many perverts, okay? Pervs. People who molest and do pervy shit. So, and it's crazy because, people will often, there's a lot of people who hold a lot of shame. Most of the world holds a lot of shame around sexuality, a lot of confusion, okay? There was somebody recently who asked me, I think it was yesterday, she asked me to do a video talking about sex workers and whether it's a legit thing. And I want to say that sex workers have always existed, okay? In many cultures, they were highly revered priestesses, okay? So you had highly revered priestesses who were trained in the art of many things, okay? And it had its place, but under the patriarchal rule, all of that got crushed. All of the woman's wisdom and woman's power, the ancient teachings and lessons and wisdoms of the goddess. Damn. Sorry for that loudness. It just started raining, I think. Hold on. Because outside of this wall, it's outside. And it's raining really hard. So now I feel like you can't hear me. So I might have to stop this video and do a part 2. Damn, it's so loud. Can you guys hear me on Instagram? IG, let me know if you can hear me. Yeah, you can hear the rain, right? Somebody let me know if you hear the rain or if you can hear me okay. Yes, what? People, answer full sentences. I'm asking more than one question. You guys are not doing a very good job. Can somebody who knows how to write a full sentence, okay, but can you hear me well enough over the rain? Okay, thank you. This is what happens. I'm in South America, and it rains worse than Miami down here. So, hopefully it will stop soon. So yeah, there are, sexual energy is healing energy, okay? And that's what Tantra, which comes from India, is based off of. But there's also the ancient teachings from China, the Taoists, which was my introduction into sacred sexual teachings. But also, a lot of you may know that I'm a dancer, and I'm a serious student of dances of the African diaspora. And dancers from Brazil, from Haiti, Cuba, Colombia, they've all taught me things too about sacred sexual traditions from Afro-Indigenous people. Okay? And this is one of the reasons why I dance so much, and I think it's important to move my hips. Because if you think about that Kundalini, people talk about Kundalini yoga. But when people do Kundalini yoga, they're not activating their hips, they're not moving their hips. It's important to arouse the dormant snakes at the base of your spine. Let it rise up your spine, which is the staff that you see in the medical symbol. And let it enlighten you, okay? Whew. So, this is why, for me, because I have this understanding, nobody can shame me about my body. Nobody can shame me about my dancing, because we're sexual beings, okay? We all come from sex. We're all here because our parents had sex. And it's like life is too short not to be having good sex, okay? You sit around and then, you get old and your body stops working or whatever, okay? Sexual energy keeps us healthy. Circulating that energy is really important. It also feeds your chi. Yesterday on Instagram, I posted a bunch of Sheila Niggas, okay? If you don't know what a Sheila Nigig is, look that up too, okay? Sheila, like Sheila, Sheela, Na, N-A, Gig, G-I-G. They are ancient figurines from Ireland, actually, of women sitting with their legs wide open, which I could and would do if the world was ready for that. But this patriarchal world is not ready for me to do that, okay? But women with their legs wide open and pulling open the vaginal lips open. And this was on the entrance of churches, okay? When people came into churches in Ireland, they would rub this. But you don't just see it in Ireland. You see it in Atabey, which is a goddess from Puerto Rico. You see it in a lot of indigenous art in Mexico and even in California, like a lot of Native American art. You'll see in the caves. Remember what I said about being written in stone? You see women with their legs wide open, with menstrual blood dripping out, or a baby's head dripping out, or nothing dripping out, okay? And this was associated with the hunt, associated with death, associated with the fertility of the land, everything. when you look at the primary documents of the colonizers who came to the Americas, who came to the Caribbean, who came to Hawaii, who came to Southeast Asia, all they did was write about how disgusted they were at the nudity and the rampant sexuality between people. So, and they try to suppress that with their Bibles and their Qurans or whatever other fucking religious shit they had, okay? People were, anywhere where it was hot, people were walking around damn near naked. All that got stomped out by patriarchal religion. And then nowadays you have people who are supposed to be so woke, right? And so progressive, and so so pro-black, or pro-native, or pro-whatever. But then they don't understand these things. And they think just like the colonizers. They shun women who shake their ass. They shun women who are half naked or naked. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at photos from a National Geographic, or photos of the few indigenous people on this planet who haven't been colonized and forced to put on clothes by the colonizers, you see people walking around damn near naked. They may have a little bit of something around their waist, but mother, daughter, granddaughter, topless. I mean, mother, daughter, grandmother, whatever, topless, nipples out, nobody's tripping, dudes are not raping women, okay? If you look at the ancient art, okay, ancient art, so loud. Colombia is way louder, okay, than New York ever. I'm on the 5th floor, and it's like so much, and I have my balcony door closed, and I still hear this shit so loud. If you look at depictions of goddesses from all over the world, okay, their nipples are out. You see, even in Colombia, you look at the pre-Columbian art, the pre-colonial art, the nipples, the clitoris, the penis, they're all emphasized. They're emphasized in the artwork. Why would they emphasize it? People, generations before us, thousands of years before us, because the Bible isn't that old, okay? People talk about the Bible like it's an instruction manual that came with the earth. The Bible isn't that old. And I'm sorry, no offense to anybody, but I don't even respect that book. So when people talk about what's in the Bible, a man wrote that shit who said that God was talking to him, that's already suspect, okay? I never am following a male guru. I don't trust male gurus. Every time you see some perverse shit happen or people brainwashing people into some cult, it's always a man, okay? 100% of the time, it's a motherfucking male guru. Nah to that. If I'm ever going to follow some great spiritual teacher, it's going to be a woman. Because women are the ones that hold that knowledge. Women are the ones that have a direct connection to spirit because we give birth. Even if we decide not to give birth, our bodies, spirit comes through us, okay? Because we're women, period. Now, men, because remember, there's a connection between sexuality and spirituality. So gay men, which there are terms, Brazil, they have a term, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's like bicha, B-I-C-H-A. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I don't speak Portuguese. But it's a term for gay men, basically. They're able to also channel spirit. So a lot of times when you see readers, a lot of times they're women or they're gay men. And the reason is because sexuality and spirituality being of the same continuum, if you're penetrated sexually, you can be penetrated spiritually, okay? You penetrated sexually, you can be penetrated spiritually. It's of the same continuum. So because women are open to spirit in that way, we channel that a lot better. So it's like a man's talking about, and also in indigenous societies, those men who channel spirit that way, they dressed as women. Those are the ones they had to dress as women for spirit to talk to them. And so feminine men, flamboyant gay men, men with female spirits has always existed, and they have a special place on this earth. I'm not talking about getting surgery to turn into a woman, but I'm saying men with a female spirit who played the woman's role, those were the ones who could directly communicate with spirit in that way. But we all come from the darkness of our mother's womb. We are all born from her vagina, unless you were cut out. You're coming through her vaginal canal. Okay? So that's a sacred portal. Women's pussies, yonis, nannies, vaginas, whatever you want to call it, is a sacred portal. Sacred and powerful. Woman, we stand in the gateway of life and death, okay? We stand in the gateway of life and death. In traditional societies, women, birth and death were in the hands of women. Now, they try to put it in the hands of men. Most of the doctors who deliver babies, they're men. They're trying to tell women, if you haven't been through the birth process, you don't have a womb. It's really hard to coach somebody and start telling them what they need to do. Okay? I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's hard. And so, I think I've said what I need to say in this video, because I also have some other videos on religion, on sacred sexual education, and on erotic art. I'm going to post that below on my YouTube page. And if there's anything that I forgot to say, because sometimes I'm talking to these cameras, I be like, my mind is in so many places, I forget. And then after the video, I'm like, oh yeah, I meant to say this, 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 and that. So if there's anything I meant to say, I'll do a part 2 of this video. Make sure that you follow me on YouTube. If you're on IG, follow me on YouTube, The Renaissance Amazon. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that good stuff. Leave comments, share the videos. And if you're on YouTube, please follow me on Instagram at the_Renaissance_Amazon_81. Yeah. And so, also, sacred doesn't mean, like a lot of people these days, when they talk about, oh, the body's sacred, you need to cover it up. Sacred doesn't mean that she needs to cover it up. That's not what that means at all, okay? All the ancient art was sacred. And what do we see? Nudity. Just pay attention to the ancient art. Forget about the Bible, okay? Anybody can rewrite his story. His story. His story. And men are bad liars, okay? It's the mysteries. It's the mysteries of the great goddess. And within that, you cannot talk about the goddess without talking about sacred sexuality. Okay? And sacred sexuality does not mean that you're monogamous and prudish for your whole life. Okay? If that's what you are and you think that you understand sacred sexuality, no. Okay? No. So I'm gonna stop this right here before I babble on forever. If you have any questions about what I'm saying, just post it below, and I might have to do a part 2. Let me see. Let me see what questions I have. Somebody said, are gay men more spiritual than regular men? I don't know if I would use the term more spiritual. Possibly, yeah. But what I would say is that they're more connected to spirit in terms of being able to channel spirit. When you're doing readings or talking to spirits, speaking to the dead, doing all of that, that's really the realm of gay men and women. Yeah. Okay, people. If you like the video, please share it, and have a good day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.